Well, we are back for some Bleach Soul Resonance, and we'll be taking a look at Gin, who I have raised. You can see that I actually got him on 2 pieces of level 30 gear. If I go over here really quickly, it looks like I'm back. I'm down to 25, which means I have 2 more 30 pieces I could make. Unfortunately, it will not be this piece. It will certainly, no, not be this piece. It is not good enough, but I figured we'd start with the gear so that you could have a rough idea. I would say that following his rough stats is a pretty good idea. You know, we'll have Rangiku soon. That'll increase him by quite a bit. But crit rate, ailment damage, and attack. Let's check out mine. I have 31,000 attack, so not the most. You know, you see characters like Aizen have 42,000. My Gin is over at 41,000. The reason this is because I do have quite a bit of ailment damage bonus. So I am missing that as a major resource, but I do have 50% crit rate. Eventually we might switch around his gear and maybe I'll end up wanting him on ailment damage here, but for now at least we do have him on just this attack percent and this crit damage piece. This piece is insane. 64% crit damage, 11.5% crit rate, 10% attack damage, and another 15% crit damage for a total of 79.3% crit damage. Is a god piece, so we had to lock that. Ailment damage 80%, another 38% ailment damage, makes that 118%. Crit rate 11.5, attack 84. This piece could obviously be better because it could have an attack percent roll, but it is what it is. And this will be the final one. When we get to a point where we finally get a left-hand piece or a one piece, we'll be hoping to really make it our attack percent dump. I don't care if it has any crit rate or crit damage or ailment damage. We will be looking to make this our just dump attack percent, and sadly this one missed on the attack percent, so even if I were to raise it, it would only have the +1 here, so like this. It just would not be enough for me personally. You can see we're also completely out of ectoplasm, so goes back to the video I dropped yesterday. Be wary that you are going to run out of your resources as a free-to-play player. I cannot get those resources back because, again, and we'll just make this the last point, 0 stamina, 0 nourishers. I'm not spending Jade on any of that because I want to do pulls, I want to have fun, I want to get characters, and you have to make you have to, you know, save and do your best to sort of mitigate those things. So one last part is we'll actually go into the leaderboard and we'll see how my Gin rank stacks up completely free to play. 5.3% is not bad at all. Just as a reference, so we have 4,000 attack there, 3,500 attack there. I assume the people with lower are on ailment, so yeah, we have 4,000 there on ailment. And how are they getting their attack? So attack percent here, obviously they have this weapon, you know, they actually have the weapon and the boundary here, so that is a big one. You know, can't quite compare to the people who have boundaries. Obviously 4,000 there. Do they have an attack percent here? They do. We're just going to see the people who have ailment damage. Yeah, so there's an ailment damage here, but they're still up to 4,000 just from, you know, raw stat. Okay, they went attack percent here, and they have no crit rate. I think that looks good on the stat screens, but is not as good actually. So 80% here, 3,700 there, and 20%. So again, no crit rate here. They're up to 46% crit rate, essentially no crit damage. I do think my Gin in theory is a little better than this one, until they get their stats up. But blah 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 blah, all that is done. Let's get into some actual content and see how my Gin performs. We're probably going to run him with Aizen because Aizen is his best, and I think it's just more interesting to actually see him at his best. So final, go over the stats. 3,100 attack. It'll be 50% crit rate when he's actually like using his skills. Remember that he does get the 15% from being on his own when, you know, when it is triggered twice, right? When Impale is triggered twice. So he will have that up a lot. So for all intents and purposes, he is going to be a 50% crit rate character. Crit damage is super high, 129%. For example, 134% on Aizen, who is not worrying about grabbing things like ailment damage here. And Aizen just has some of my best gear, period. Aizen has my best gear on my account by far. And finally, 187% ailment damage bonus. So let's get into a fight. And we are back. Here we go. Let's see what we got here. We've got Kenpachi, the big dog of 12-3. I thought Kenpachi would be a pretty good one to go up against. One of the things you're going to need to notice about Gin, and sometimes I do it here, sometimes I, because this is one of my first times really using Gin. I've mostly just been autoing, getting my farming done while building him up. So this has been the real first time I've gotten a chance to use him. But as you saw there, his techniques are all insane. His techniques are all cancelable into other characters. So when you hold technique or use his counter, if you have his weapon, his enhanced counter that is, make sure you are actually going into other characters during that, because they really did know what to do with Gin. So here you can see, blasting, and then I charge up 1, 2, 3, and then switch out. And look, it's all doing it, even the follow-up. Like, Gin is so good at dipping and dodging in and out of combat. And again, even though obviously he was meant to be run on the thrust team, you really can't deny this character's ability to just sit in with Aizen. And it goes to show that Aizen is just this monster. You can see Aizen proccing again the impale chance there and spamming out a little counter here, getting it done. I accidentally used my technique. I thought I'd have more technique stacks, but I was wrong. That's something we're just gonna need to get used to, is getting the feel of the technique stacks, getting the feel of that. But yeah, you can see impale going in and out, using his enhanced attack there just to get the last bit of technique recover. Boom, switch out. He's just blasting him. And again, it's one of those things where you really don't see Gin do these 8 million damage attack stat, boom. But Gin has no problem just killing people. I mean, he breaks there. Look at that. Look how fast he broke. Gin just kills people, and it almost feels like it's hard to gauge just how much damage he's doing a lot of the time. I don't know if anyone else in the YouTuber space has talked about this, but I have a hard time gauging just how much damage Gin's doing. But boom, impale, takes off a bar. It is impressive, right? It is pretty impressive how much damage this character just absolutely dumps in a roundabout way. I really like it. Continuing on with the thing I said is that they've really nailed these various character feelings. Gin doesn't feel like Aizen doesn't feel like Toshido doesn't feel like Ichigo, Ichigo doesn't feel like Yoruichi doesn't feel like Akaku. You know what I mean? They've done a really good job. And I mean, there's the run, 3 minutes, 3ish, a minute and a half in total. Pretty good. 8.69 million, not too shabby. I guess we'll move on to the next bit of talking points. And yeah, last little bit of cleanup, but I think that's gonna do it on our Gin playthrough here, but I guess display showcase. But yeah, I mean, as you can see, tops damage by a lot. 12-3 is not the highest stage of content, but I think for literally day 0, day 1 of Gin's release, that's a pretty meaningful benchmark to get through. I mean, it certainly was a wall I was facing, so it wasn't something that I was able to do at my current, power level of my account when it came to my thrust team. So Gin, a notable upgrade. Here again are the stats. You can see that it wasn't a big whoa, he's doing 4 million damage attack stats, but you wouldn't really notice that he wasn't, because the impale, the way that his skills work, the fact that he's proccing this impale, this 500% of his tech on the enemy. So yeah, I would definitely like to get a little bit more attack percent for sure. I don't know if this will be the final build I settle on. Maybe I'll get an attack percent piece that looks really good, but the fact that I 30%ed it, or 30 starred it, 6 starred it, means that I probably won't be changing it This I won't be changing. It really is all on this to roll some attack percent, with maybe hitting an attack percent here would be absolutely optimal before I go in on any more pieces of gear. But yeah, that's Geen. Reminder that we still don't actually have his boosted technique. So, you know, just remember that, like, this is still waiting. Like, this is the thing released for him. This is the one that he wants to use. We're just using this percentage-based one, which we are getting the half benefit of here, the 40%. Though, maybe you could argue that we should just be doing attack percent or something like that, or all type damage. We'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, based on my stats, you really wouldn't think that I was just doing that much damage, right? Because, you know, you see 3100 attack here, you see 50% crit rate here, but you see that big crit damage stack here, and then that big ailment damage boost here. We will have to wait and see. As for his secondary piece, this might be a piece that in the long term I end up moving off of him onto someone else, maybe, just because we don't know how crit damage will affect it. But this piece is just too godlike. I would have raised this piece to 30 no matter what, because this piece is literally just too godlike, right? This is an incredible piece of gear. This will go on someone at some point no matter what. So we will have to wait and see. But yeah, that's the Geen showcase. If he looks good enough to you and you love him, I mean, he looks good enough to me. I'll probably be taking on the harder stages of Tower after I go off camera. If I think it's worth doing, I might record them for a later date. Maybe Hollow Ichigo one here, or maybe even the Trial 15 if we get there. But you can see that most of my trials have stalled at around 14, 13, 12, etc. Outside of needing a slash one. Boy, this one's tough. Without actually having a slash character other than Shikai Ichigo. Again, for those who don't know, I could raise Shikai Ichigo. I just don't want to use the resources, man. We need resources, but all right. That's Geen. That's his showcase. I've been Lone. Like if you liked the video, subscribe to join the club. We all go make it, and peace, man.